Alright, welcome back. Now, we're starting off today's video kind of where we left off the last day, and that is our 4 heifer calves that are in here are going back out today. They've been in now for the past 4 days and the coffin is all gone. I'd say a combination of the CTC powder and the Pharmacin injection. I'd say the Pharmacin more than anything solved the issue, because to me it was respiratory related more than actually worms at all. Before I do anything, I have to say I'm under the weather myself. Any of you that follow me on Instagram or Facebook will notice that I probably didn't post anything this quite a while, the last week at least. I got COVID for the first time. I only actually tested positive a couple of days ago for it. I thought it'd be a minor flu. It started off like that, but it progressively got worse. Real problem on the chest, just trying to breathe was the biggest problem. And then temperature. Even today, you could be sweating, just standing there. And then you could be freezing cold. And aches and pains is another one. I got down the backs of my legs and my back. I know everybody gets it differently. A prick of a headache that is behind your eyes. The headache is a bit hard to explain, but even the sun and stuff very hard to look at. My sense of smell and taste went yesterday, but I'm actually alright. I'm in actually good enough form. The only thing is, when you walk around from place to place, you are out of breath fairly quickly, and I didn't think I was going to be affected that way, but I was, and I still am, and that's probably going to take time for it to go away. But it has peaked, thank Christ, because there was 2 days there, and thankfully, if it was ever going to happen, it happened when the kids were at home from school, because they were a powerful help to me. The thing about farming is it continues anyway. At least I don't have to isolate, because I am isolated here. It's just one big isolation room out in the middle of the country. So I'm going to set up here. I'm going to get these cars hopefully to follow me, not give me any hassle. I'm back in with the rest of their friends. They'll be happy, I'll be happy. The job will be a good one. Come on, yous. Mum, just you've done enough of dung anyway, that's for sure. Nothing wrong with that end of you. Right, take it handy now and remember where you are. Don't do anything foolish. Not a breeze when I left the house, come over here. And now when I come over, there's a hell of a wind. Now it's going to make the thing noisy again. Someone's going to give out to me. I have a new mic ordered. I did send the other one off to get it looked at, and it's not worth fixing. The price of a new one, so a new one ordered. I'll have it tomorrow from the old Amazon, and we'll solve that problem with the wind, I promise you that. Now, you go back in here with the rest of your friends. Don't go down there. I'm only after taking you up from there. No, you just go back. Get back. Shh. Shh. Ah, Jesus. That wasn't exactly what I had planned. The fact that they're lively is a good sign. I'm just not as lively myself today. Go on. And play all you want when you get back into the field you're supposed to be in. Go on. I'm actually changing my mind again, which I do quite a lot. And I think a lot of people do. They don't just do it on camera. But I'm going to take these 2 fences down here, which is just an alleyway that I created to bring them in and out to the chute when I'm working on them. But they like getting in here. There's lovely fresh grass in here. So go back. Wait, Ruby, you quit. Quit now. I'm going to leave them in here. There's loads of grass in here. I'll do them for a fortnight. One more paddock that's layered with grass as well. I want them to eat too. And that'll be it, they're going inside. So I'll close this gate, take down this corridor and let them at it. So I have the 2 fences down, left here beside me. I'm now have a lazy idea in my head to save me a bit of hassle, and that's the trots are up in that far paddock and the bin is just up there too, and I don't fancy going up there every morning to mail them until I come back to myself. So I'm going to do something very lazy and drive into a wet field. If I go out around there, it'll not be so bad. Very wet here. But if I go right around there and around that spot, I might just get away with it. I'm going to take that bin down and drop it here, and I'm going to go back up and get the trots in the far paddock. Yes, I'll probably make a bit of a mess. You know something? The day that's in it, I'll put up with it. Right, we'll get these trots. The interesting part here, overtake along this post here. Get out of the wet. I'm going to pick the tipsy bin up the wrong way, because I can't be asked laying the tractor up the other side. I'm just going to pick it up any way I can to get it moved. There you are, you do well. I'm actually very impressed with the amount of grass that grew here. You can see it on the camera. I'll get down here a second and show you, but lovely grass on that field now, just after the bit of slurry that it got. This wouldn't be a terrible wet field especially not across the top of it here, but it's better yet. With the amount of grass that's on it, you're left with a big old heavy growth of grass in the springtime, which will probably come back on it anyway, but it's much harder in the springtime, and we found this last while to get it grazed than it is to graze late. We're making no hand anyway, which is unusual. That's the trots laid out just before I throw males to them. So I lift these 2 bales here and bring them home. So as you can see, we have a very few bales used. But then cows are in nearly 3 weeks now at this stage. It's hard to believe, but they're in nearly 3 weeks. The pit is going to be opened now very shortly. That's definitely what I must do in the next week or so. I'm just putting it off at the minute until I feel a bit better. That's our 2 bales loaded up there now and ready for home. But now that I am here, saving me having to come back with the quad. Well, I will have to come back with the quad, but I can leave it today because I really do want to come back and pick up all the fences now throughout the fields. But if these heifers were obliging enough to go down here and out through them 2 gates, sounds very simple, but the one that's looking at me here, this black one, she'll not want to do that, and quad is usually the only way of getting them out. They actually instantly know when the quad goes into the field that there's no point in trying to outrun it, and they usually come out quite quickly then. They're cute as hawks. They seem very, very eager to get out of the field. See how eager they are now in a minute. The spring by goes across here. The hook's on there, and this hook's off, and then it goes over here. So just look down this wire here. God, yous are very eager, aren't yous? It looked good there for a second because 3 or 4 of them ran for the lane. We have one standing here behind me. She's a big old pet. But now they're starting to move away from the gate. And so I might actually get a bucket of meal as well, actually, when I'm at it. Right, that's too much meal. Jesus, where are you going with that? Right. See, this is the big old pet coming running here now. She can smell the bit of meal, and she'd take the trousers and all off you. You should get away with it. But I'm not giving it to you because you're a big old bully. No, way off you get. No, you're not getting it. And there's no point in going over there either because you'll not get near that. Jeez, we might get lucky here. Out, out, shh, out, 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 out. Up, up, up. Way on. Well, that is the most obliging I've seen them in, well, probably ever, since they were calves. I'll put a radio on with them now. I always have a radio on with my cattle at home and away. And believe it, a lot of people do ask, is there any sense in having a radio on with animals, even in a milking parlour? Yeah, I think a radio does settle. It settles people too. A good song will always lift your spirits. Or it's a good calming effect too. All depends on what you listen to. Obviously, if you're getting your blood pressure checked, don't be listening to Metallica. But Celine Dion will probably bring your pulse right down. We mentioned before about angleberries. Do you remember the problem I had with angleberries? A lot of people messaged me about that. And some of these heifers were absolutely covered in angleberries. Real big things, as big as golf balls. All hanging around the ends of their teeth and things. And it was very concerning for me and concerning for a lot of farmers, because I know a lot of farmers, like myself, have had to get rid of cattle because of it. So I have treated that, and I didn't want to give any update until I see the final result of it. Now these cattle are only asking in, I don't want to disturb them much. When we're clipping these heifers, I'll show you them again and go through it with more detail. But the angleberries is gone. So how did we get rid of the angleberries? Well, we didn't get any medications or anything actually. So we used the sheep docking bands. Sinead came over here with me one day and we spent about an hour putting them in the crush and just putting a sheep band on every single one of them. It actually was very, very easy to do because unlike warts, angleberries they're kind of like tumours. They're not warts. Sometimes can be a mass that's just covering the whole area, but with these you can kind of get a round base and get the rubber ring up around it and the clamps around that base. So it worked really well. I cut the blood supply to it and starting to blacken within the first week, 10 days, and then they hardened up, dried up and just disappeared. And then every second day for about 2 weeks we treated them with iodine, just spraying iodine directly onto the wound, and that was it. The problem was solved. So next job I want to do is deal with these 10 cows here. These 10 cows are our first cows that go dry, and some of them have been dry now for about a week and a half. Other ones have been put dry only there in the last couple of days, but it's the first 10, and before I put silage in for them this morning I want to let them out and I want to get them up into the crush, and I want to do the annual clipping on their backs, tails, backs of their legs, crown of their head. I actually do as well, but we'll show you that when we're doing it, and get a dose into them. So gives you a good idea, kind of looking at them and seeing what they're like condition wise. It's important now to start building condition, and cow like that there, she's great condition on her. This white one here, she'll need to put on condition. She was only dried there 2 days ago, but that she will. She has plenty of time now to build that when she's dry. But otherwise, yeah, I'm happy enough with how they look so far. It's only now you start to see whether the silage has any power or not in it. But my idea is that anyway, is I'll be up my pit now. I don't think it'll be in this video, but I'm going to be opening definitely in the next one. Probably which will be filmed tomorrow or the next day. And I'm going to feed that to the cows that are still milking. And on our dry cows, we'll just continue on feeding with bales for now and see how that kind of works up until Christmas anyway. I have a different dosing gun today. I've bought a dosing gun here yesterday actually. One with the hook on it. I haven't used one of those before, but everybody tells me they're a great job, so we'll find out in a wee while. I'm not going to put a heap of them up into the crush at the one time. I might just stick 3 in at a time. I only have 10 to do, and it's not going to take me long. I don't want them getting excited and falling or getting hurt, so the less stress on them the better. Hand on me. I do believe that's it. Yeah, see, this is the thing I don't like about these. Cows have a great way of using their tongue to throw stuff out. And the dose gun I would use before would have went down her throat, but I've been fit to hold her head for a little while. And long enough for her to swallow it. Now, with doing this, her head was more or less level. She can go basically any way she wants. Down, up, whatever. I've seen dose coming out of her mouth. That's a fair wee amount of dose to come out there now. Am I doing something wrong? You can let me know. But to me, the videos I've watched, I've seen that nearly in every one of the guys' videos. So anyway, we'll keep at it. We'll do a few more. We're only starting. There's learning curve to everything. But that's just giving you my little bit of opinion on it. Just by the way, before I let her out, in case you haven't seen me clipping before, all I do is a nice wide clip down the centre of her back. I come across both of her hip bones here, top of the crown of the tail, down to the bottom of the tail, down the backs of the elders, and if needed, on both sides of the legs. Now she's relatively clean, so there's no need for me to go down the backs of her legs. But I also do the crown of their head. You don't have to. A farm I used to work in always swore by doing the crowns of their head as well. It brought them hard comfort. And see here on the top of their head, behind that stump, all it seems to be full of old dry skin and stuff. And sure, that's bound to bring a wee bit of comfort. Anyway, she's done. Out she gets. 9 more to do. concept is very good. I'm sure it works really well for a lot of people. But for me to do it on this one, I nearly feel that I need to have something under the cow's head to keep the cow's heads up. Because again, she's just spat out a load of dose. At the minute I'm doing something wrong because I don't want to see that dose coming out. There's at least 10 mil, 15 mil between the two of them cows that has come out of their mouths. So the first three weighed in would be second calvers, a lot younger, so they won't have the same condition on them as these. Here we have a third calver and we have two fourth calvers, and you can look just down their spine and see the kind of condition that they currently have. And you can see this girl here particularly, she's the width of the chute nearly. It's a great time when you're doing this kind of job, not just to get the job done, but it lets you look through the cows and see what's needed, if anything is needed. So the two sheds that we have, the open shed, what I mean open, I mean a single house and the double shed. The single house has the best ventilation, and I always find if you have cows that are slightly on the thinner side, move them from that house over to the other house, and it always has a great result. Unreal how important ventilation is, and a good airy shed. And that other shed, that 4-bay single, that is great for cows that are slightly on the thinner side. So I'll always be keeping a close eye on them as I dry cows off, and then a few weeks after that to see, to make sure that they're putting on weight. And if I feel that certain cows aren't, I keep swapping them back and forth just till I get to where I want to be. But anyway, that's it. This big Bessie here is going to get her hair chopped. There's very little to nothing to come off her, but still I'll run it down her spine, tidy it up. I'm not going to use this no more. For these cows I'm going to do a wee bit more research and look up a few more videos. I'm sure there's a better technique than what I'm using, but for now I'm just going to go back to old school. I just feel more confident putting it straight down the throat and seeing nothing coming back up. No hairdresser, that's for sure, but it does clean them up an awful lot. And hopefully now what'll happen is the rest of the hair will fall off in the next 2 to 3 weeks. The rest of the old winter coat will start to shed much quickly now. They'll look the bee's knees in about 2 or 3 weeks, just start to get a real nice shine of them. Definitely helps cattle to thrive. It's one of the most worthwhile things you could do to animals is to clip them. One thing I do want to do as well next week is hopefully go and get another brush, the same as the one I put in last year, and put it into the shed where these ones are, because now with a haircut just like that, it'll be quite itchy for a wee while. In case anybody asks what's the red on their back as well, the red in the back's just an indication that they're dry. The red tape on the tail is exactly the same reason. It's just in case animals would ever get mixed. You'd always know, and you never know if anything was to happen sometime down the line, someone had to come in and do an emergency milking for you. The tape's there. When the tape's on the tail, it means it doesn't go into the tank. So that's it. I'm going to put these back into the house here. I'm going to do the last 4 that needs to be done, and we'll pick it up then. Now, there is another bale in with our cashel. I've put in about 15 bales or so with it so far. That time the net fully came off. Kind of hardest thing to learn, and believe it or not, it sounds easy, but it's the hardest actual part to learn, is how much downward pressure you put on the actual machine as you're clamping around the bale. Sometimes if you don't put down enough, it doesn't grab the net just right and the net does rip. Now this yellow net that we used, I don't know what brand it is. Bale, our man who supplies the net to us always, we supply the plastic. So I don't know what brand it is, but it actually rips a lot quicker than the stuff we had last year, which was a white colour. Again, don't know the brands, but it does tend to rip very, very easily. So I found two different problems when I'm using it, and it's the same with the rest of them. They've all had the same problems, and them problems would be the downward pressure when you're closing on the bale. So that this plate here, and that's why I purposely turned it down to keep the blades away from us, that this guy's here, when they engage and grab the plastic, that they're grabbing just the right amount of plastic. So with the hooks there especially, you don't want them going in too much into it if you can, because it will grab the silage as well and will hold on to some of the silage. The other ones that I've had that don't use that hook system, just kind of like a nip and catch, again, you had to apply a little bit more pressure with them so that they grab the plastic and the net underneath. That there would be inclined, just looking by its design, to catch the net a wee bit easier maybe. I do think it's just finding that balance, and that balance will only come with practice. A lot of people have messaged me about each one of these machines that I've tried, regardless what brand it is. I've had messages after each of them videos where people have owned them and said, Adrian, it's going to take at least 100 to 200 bales to kind of master that machine properly. And once you do, you'll fly with it. Yes, you will get bales where the net won't come off. You'll find them quite often. And a lot of that's down to actually the way it was baled too. But that is it. I like to show the thing, and I say it to everybody who gives me anything. I'm going to just show my experience of using it, not base it on what others tell me. Just my experience of first using it. As I say, 15 bales is not a lot of bales to learn how to use your machine, but they are the results that I've got. It's a well-built machine. You can see that straight off the bat. If I was to buy one, I'd probably put both tines on the other side, because if I was driving in here, which I'm going to do now in a wee while, and pick up some of the silage and spread it across over here to the other side, it'd be handy to actually have them two tines on. So right, so that's just kind of scattered out and keep them happy now. That's us done with the castle. It goes back. I'm going to give it a quick power wash now, and it goes up in my trailer, and I'll be dropping the next time I'm over Clark's direction. But huge thanks to everybody who organised getting that out to us. Erwin, especially, in Clark's, good old chap. I've got to know this last while, and yeah, for everybody in Cashel, whoever it is that organised it, thanks for giving us a chance to demo that out. I did enjoy it, and best of luck with their machine. But anyway, the most important job of the day is just getting them few cows actually done and clipped and dosed and all. I did actually run 3 of them back through the crush again afterwards and give them a little top of a dose, because I didn't like that dose coming out of their throat. Did look at a few videos though, and every one I looked at, I could see this coming running out of their mouth. So you can let me know if I'm doing something wrong, and yeah, I'll try it a different way if you think there's a better way of doing it. Thanks guys for watching. I'm sorry, a bit off form today, but I'm recovering, and just jobs are difficult. That's the best way of putting it, but I'm feeling better every day as it goes by and getting back to myself. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.